All right. So one thing that's big at the moment that you see around a lot of the place is people doing animal movements.
Hold up.
And unfortunately, a lot of the time they have no idea why they're doing them or what they're trying to achieve. They are fantastic for your body, they're fantastic for the way you move, but if you destroy yourself trying to go as fast as you can, you're going to miss most of the benefit of doing them. The guy who trained me with kettlebells, a guy called Pavel Tsatsouline, he said any idiot can make you tired. And we see proof of that with the animal stuff all the time. I'm going to run through monkey, frogger and bear, and then also some other crawling variations, and give you a bit of an understanding of why we do them, a little bit of how to do them, and the different benefits to some of the variations within that. The first one that we're going to look at is monkey. So monkey is essentially you squat down, you take the weight in your arms, and you drag across. And you want it to be a controlled movement. So as I do that, I'm teaching myself to take the load with my shoulders, all right? And then as I shift across, I'm actually using a lot of control with my midsection. Now when I'm in this position, obviously I'm working on my hip and ankle mobility. You can see that for me, my ankles aren't sitting down super easily here. If I was doing this for a while, then I'd prioritize this position. I'd push my butt back, I'd push my knees out, and I'd use that to stretch. Load, pull across, and stretch. All right, you can see that's going to do a lot. It's going to develop my shoulder stability. I'm also going to get stronger through my midsection. Then I'm going to open up my hips and teach my feet how to stabilize here as well. All right, so that's monkey. You can do variations on monkey that make it more interesting and that teach you different things. But a lot of the time with that, it's just playing. Just being mindful of what you're doing and present in your body as you do things. So there are some cool variations. You can do monkey 360 where you point this hand behind. Sorry, I'll do monkey 180 first. So I point this hand behind, load that hand, come across, and then do that movement through. You can do the same thing but with a bit of a twist at the end to make it into a 360. So load, come across. All right, and that's nice because it starts to get your brain to grapple with things a little bit more, and you also feel your body having to stabilize as you have this centrifugal motion that you're dealing with as your body whips around. Alongside that, you can do the monkey 360. Well, it's essentially your monkey 360, but you're going to go over instead, just a bit like a cartwheel. So it's that same sort of thing, but instead of my hand coming around, I go up and over, and then again, but it's just play. Ultimately, these are ways of opening up hips, strengthening and stabilizing shoulders while you can enjoy it. If you decide to do them at max pace, make it a game. Chase someone doing it. Like, don't just go from end to end in the room trying to get tired with it. If you play things like tag, when you're using the monkey position and things like that, you'll naturally find positions to rest, and you'll rest in a way that's opening up your hips and shoulders, and you'll be much more natural, and it's going to have a far more marked improvement on your overall health. The next movement we're going to cover is frogger. Frogger is a hip hinge, and you're going to find that doing frogger, especially if you've got short arms like I do, it's quite challenging for your hips, and you feel a lot going on as you go through the movement. So I'll show you some frogger. All right. Now GMB teaches this movement from what they call a floating tabletop. So I'm here. I have a hollow position where I pull my shoulders down away from my ears and pull my pelvis towards my belly button. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my pelvis hard to my belly button and use that to pull my hips forward or my feet forward. And then I'm going to load my arms and rip forward. Okay, load and pull. And you can see as I do that I'm both having to develop control here, but as I control, I'm pushing hard into the ground, which gives me the range to pull forward, which again is asking of my hips, knees and ankles to be stable and strong. Okay, and if you add that squat in, then that adds some more demand. Now, one of my favourite variations of Frogger includes what they call the banzai hop. Now, I'm not sure why they call it the banzai hop, but let me show it to you. Because in terms of opening up your hips, this is a wonderful multifaceted movement that does really good things for you. So again, you can do your tabletop if you want to, pull through, then you're going to lift your arms overhead and jump. Okay, load, pull, and jump. And just doing that, you'll find that you do so much for opening and strengthening your hips, knees, and ankles. And it's so simple. Bear walks. So I love bear walks. Bear walks fit the way my body's built really well. Bear walks are nice, in my opinion, because they help to take your shoulders through its range of motion, and then you can also gently increase the load on your body without challenging an overhead range that a lot of people in our culture don't have. So if you're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, bear walks can be a nice way of taking your shoulder through its range gently and easily, and it feels good. You could do that at the end of class as a way of bringing your heart rate down and stretching everything out at the same time. So the main thing that I think about when I do my bear walks is actually getting my butt on the roof. So I start with my hands underneath my shoulders and my knees underneath my hips. From here, I push my butt up as high as I can. And so today, I'm feeling a bit tired, so I'm just going to bend my knees a little bit. As I walk, I reach out. Right, and you can walk, you can do it with straight legs if you want, and that'll increase the emphasis on your flexibility. But if you bend your legs, then it changes into an emphasis on your upper body flexibility. Now I'm reaching a long way here, and I feel a great stretch through that arm. Alright, and then, so that's your basic bear. Your basic bear is great for stabilizing your shoulders, for putting strength through a straight limb, which is a lot gentler on your joints, while still conditioning them and getting good things to happen, as well as asking for some flexibility from my hips and ankles. Hips and hamstrings. My ankles, there's more challenging positions that you can be in. Now from here, if you want to start to increase the load, if you want to make your bear walks a little more challenging, then you've got a few options. The first one is backwards bear. So backwards bear is the same position, but I'm pushing myself backwards. And so this means that the driving force is no longer my feet or my hips, but it starts to shift into my shoulder. Right? All of a sudden I'm pushing through here, whereas when I go forwards, I'm pushing through there. Alright? Now if that's feeling pretty good, you can do 3 to 5 minutes of that. No problem. Everything looks great at the end, as good as it did or better than when you started. Then you can shift to your bent arm bear. Now your bent arm bear is the same sort of thing, but you just bend your arms. And so the more bent your arm is, the more demanding this is going to be. You can do some really quite demanding variations like this, where again I'm still trying to get my backside up to the roof. But the more bent my arm is, the more demanding it is on my structure, on my triceps, and I'm less relying on my bone and everything connected, and more starting to rely on the musculature. And so doing those bear walk variations can be a nice, gentle way of developing overhead pushing strength and overhead stability without necessarily putting the same aggressive load that, say, a military press or some of the overhead pressing variations might bring into things. So Steve has asked about duck walks. Now duck walks are essentially, in my opinion, they're very similar to some of the outcomes you'll get from Monkey and Frogger, but they are a really intense way of just starting to figure out where your flexibility is at. And so you can see I'm having to stabilize on one leg as I do this. And if you're staying nice and tall, you can start to really open things up. But this particular movement is really just a nice way of taking your hips through their range of motion and starting to open them up for the day. If you're someone who does a lot of office work, doing something like this or monkey before you start your session is probably not a bad plan. I like this movement for the need to stabilize on one leg in a really flexed hip and knee position. So crab walks. Crab walks are nice because they challenge my posterior chain where I'm really flexed. So as I do this, my hamstring is doing a lot of work. Right? As I shift through, this, going back this way, my shoulders are doing a lot, but as I come forward, this pull here is a fair demand on your hamstrings. So if you've got no capacity to load the back half of your body, doing crab walks in a hurry, and look, if your knees and hips are good, do broad jumps. If you've got somewhere that's nice and stable to land in. But if your hips and knees aren't good, then crab walks are a nice way to strengthen your lats, your hamstrings, and that back half of your body, and everything's going on there.